Dan liked it and I liked it.
Okay, we're on.
She's Always a Woman. This, to me, seems like the sort of least amount of production of any song on the record. It's very sort of sparse. Was that on purpose, or was it just sort of like, it's perfect the way it is?
I believe that when I first wrote the song, I heard it as a folk song. And I'm not really a folk artist. Piano players don't necessarily play, acoustic guitar style folk music, which in a way accounts for the piano technique. I was trying to play like a guitar would pick. And it was supposed to be pretty pure as a folk song, and it didn't really change.
There's a bit at the end that reminds me of the story that John Lennon used to tell of "You've Got to Hide Your Love Away," where at the end of the song there's that instrumental bit, and everyone everyone thought that he should play the harmonica at the end. And he said, well, no, that would be too obvious because that's what Dylan would do or whatever. It's a folk thing. So they had flutes come in and play at the end of the track.
Right.
Was there, at the end of this song, you sort of hum the theme again?
Right.
Was there, in a similar way, because it's a waltz, was there well, I shouldn't use the harmonica because that's the Piano Man thing. Was there any kind of or was that, again, like the whistling, like a placeholder and we'll do something else, or?
Well, there's a lot of dichotomy in the song itself. I think if it was done too sweet and too pure, it wouldn't have worked. The lyric is somewhat troubling. Some people said, oh, he's a misogynist. Look what he says about this woman. And he wrote this song called "She's Only a Woman," which always cracks me up every time I read that. I said, well, that's what you call it. That's not what I call it. To me, it's a very simple, understandable lyric. She may be that to you, but she's this to me, so what's your problem? But I wanted to hum as if I was being meditative, because humming to me always is a metaphor for I'm thinking about this. This is how I think right now. Yeah.
So you weren't like, oh, that could be some other instrument later on, and I'll just put this in.
You know what? That might have happened, and again, it might have been one of those things where I said, something should do something here. And Phil went, you just did it. That's it. That's the right sound. Because when I was at a loss, Phil would know. And I might have just been doing it instinctively the right way without knowing it was right.
And was it the fact that it was a waltz sort of similar to...
Well, it's not a waltz. It's 6/8 time. A waltz is 3/4 time. Yeah. So it has more of a continuum than a waltz. Like a waltz is da-na, 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 da-da, and this was dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. It's tied together. Dee-dee-dee-dee. That makes it 6/8, I think.